on August the 21st, 2013. Why join the nation's largest network of medical billers? Again, we want to tell you thank you again for taking your time out this afternoon. I know everybody's time is pretty valuable, and so we want to get right to everything today. Again, just as introduction, my name is Eric Auger. I'm the Director of Research and Development here at American Business Systems. And part of welcoming you in here today, I want to ensure that you're hearing me okay. So for those that have been on our webinars once before, you know that I might ask you to click that little hand there on the upper right-hand corner of your screen, and that just indicates to us that our voices are coming loud and clear. So Ron, good to have you again. Patrick, thanks so much for you guys joining us. Jake, good to have you. And Ann, and it looks like we got some other folks, Christine, Daryl, Gary, Mia, Trek, Waylon, Jerry, good to have everybody here this afternoon. And again, welcome to the webinar today. Folks, this is actually going to be a pretty exciting one that we're going to go through today because Patrick has done a lot of research on some certain topics, a lot to do with Obamacare, and this is really one of the reasons why you want to be part of the nation's largest group of independent network of medical billers here. But as we get into this, we want to share with those that have been on our webinars before and those who have not been on our webinars before, just who is American Business Systems. And who we are is a group of people over here on our side working with people just like you on your side, getting you involved in what we love to call a very clean type business. A business that you can certainly run from your home, as you see here on the screen with these folks here. And this is a business that is just so transportable, whether you're wanting to work from home or in an office building or build your own building, you can certainly do that because our system is driven by a cloud-based billing system. And really what that means is that it's web-based. It doesn't matter where you're located. You don't have to have expensive software to load, and you certainly don't need to have expensive hardware either to have this business and operate this business just from anywhere. If you have not yet gone through our website, this is the one you want to go through, absystems.com. There you're going to find a lot about American Business Systems, how much it costs, how do we help you get clients, how much can I make. This is a great place to start, but to even get further inside your due diligence, you certainly want to go over to what's called our virtual brochure. Inside our virtual brochure, certainly we go through very step-by-step ways for you to learn more about the business, whether it's the opportunity, whether it's getting clients, training, support, technology, and then also the final steps. And now we've just added some enhancements to that to where it actually you'll see how it can help step you through each portion of these sections here inside our virtual brochure. So if you're really wanting to do your due diligence, get involved in that virtual brochure. Also, there's some testimonials of some of our licensees and their contact information as well that you can get in there. A lot of people ask us about the Better Business Bureau, and we have an A+ rating with the Fort Worth Better Business Bureau, so there's the place to go check us out at right there. But more importantly, if you just want to come by and sit with us and visit with us and come get to know us, you're more than welcome to do that. Here's a picture of the office building of where we reside in. It's at 5751 Kroger Drive in Keller, Texas. Now, Keller, Texas is just a little suburb north of Fort Worth. If anybody are big race fans, the big Texas Motor Speedway is just north of where we are. So if you love to come by and visit with us, we'd love to have you come by and chat with us, and we can show you our offices, meet the other people, really, a lot of people that behind the scenes that really are the heart of American Business Systems. Certainly for those that want to follow us on social media, we are on Twitter at AB Systems. So please plug us into your social media network right there. Follow us. We always are having different information. Adam Phillips, our president, keeps up with the blog here, both on the Twitter side and then on absystems.com/blog. We're always currently doing all sorts of new videos. Patrick is always doing testimonials with folks that have gotten their clients and testimonials about how they did it. And so besides just this webinar, jump in over on that social media side and really learn about the business as well. Folks, our upcoming training is coming up in just a little over less than 4 weeks now. It is September the 16th through the 20th. You can see it here. We only have 9 seats available. These seats are going pretty quickly. A lot of people have kind of finished up with everything in the summer, looking to get their business kicked off here at the last part of the year. And it would almost be saying like we're only going to have standing room only there in this upcoming training workshop. Let me introduce you to our CEO, Patrick Phillips. Patrick is a famed author. He's written several books, as you can see here, How to Reprogram Yourself for Success. All of these books can be found on Amazon.com. But one that I want to draw your attention to is the one on the right-hand side, talking about cash crunch to cash flow. Folks, this is a part of your marketing as a brand new medical building business company that you're going to want to have. And this book was written in a third-party mentality so that it really focuses on the doctors, what they're losing in their cash flow. So without any further ado, let me bring on Patrick on here. Patrick, it's good to have you here, and let's get this thing kicked off and why people need to join us over here at ABS. And hopefully we've got Patrick still on the line. There we go.
That's kind of scary, isn't it, when you're introducing the guy that's supposed to guide the thing. Sorry, I had it on mute. Well, thanks, Eric. Yes, this is going to be interesting because we get a lot of questions about why people should be a part of what we're doing. And we try to make it clear as we're talking to people one-on-one across the phone, like you do a lot, Eric, of course, and as Adam does and some other folks here at the office. But sometimes it's just not quite clear to them why they should be a part of ABS. Why can't they just start, their own medical billing business? I mean, right. People do that all the time, right?
Exactly.
So I thought I would just kind of cover just a couple of real basic things. First of all, you've probably seen this quote before, Eric, and I may have shown it on a webinar before, but I thought it was a good one because it just came out in Entrepreneur Magazine. And the quote is, small business growth is poised to boom in 2013 due to the uncertainty in the economy. More and more people are looking to start their own businesses for the security and opportunity afforded to business owners. So that's one reason why you should get involved, not just in this business, but just in general in your own business.
That's right. And Patrick, I think I may have mentioned to you yesterday that I got an email from someone I'm talking to, and it was an article written through what's called, I believe it's called Crown Financials. And the title of that one says, Job Hunting Getting You Down, How to Build a Full-Time Life in a Part-Time World. So they're even advocating, start your own business. Don't just work for somebody else.
Yeah, because that little pink slip can come at any time, as I found out back in the late 80s when I was working for Apple Computer. They brought me into a little room and said, hey, we're moving the whole thing back to California. Thanks for your service. Here's an Apple Computer. Goodbye.
Yep, there you go.
So we hear that a lot from the people that we're talking to. So it may be happening to some of the folks that are on this. Hey, this book here is an interesting one because Entrepreneur Magazine has been out there for, 30 some odd years, I guess, and they published a book called Start Your Own Medical Claims Billing Service. It's a great book for people who just want to know the basics of this, but I thought it was interesting because the only business opportunity that they refer to in there that's still in business is us, American Business Systems, as you can see there from that screenshot. So you can pick that up at Amazon.com as well and just kind of glance through it if you want to and see an overview of the business itself. So I wanted to start out, Eric, today by just talking, first of all, why would somebody want to get involved in medical billing right now, especially with the Affordable Care Act coming down the pike? You want to talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Here is, I guess that's probably one of our biggest questions now that we're getting is what about this Affordable Care Act or Obamacare? Well, first of all, folks, just in the initial part of it, as you can see here on the screen, that this is going to initiate 30 million of uninsured Americans into a health care system. There's already a shortage of doctors, and there's going to be an increasing shortage of doctors by the year 2015. And it just lends itself to know that doctors are going to need help with billing. Patrick, I think one of the things that you and I are involved. We're so involved on both sides, whether we're dealing with doctors or we're dealing with folks that are looking to get into this business. And you and I know that doctors really know that outsourcing their billing, that's really the way to go, so that they can focus on their patients.
Yeah, you mentioned one time, I thought was great, Eric, in one of the classes, I think you said, hey, doctors actually are running two different businesses. Their clinical side, dealing with patients, and then the business side, which is, of course, trying to get paid for seeing those patients.
Right. Yeah, and it's gotten a little bit complicated for those doctors trying to juggle those two. And so really this is positioning folks that want to get into medical billing in a good position.
Yeah. In fact, when I first ran across this chart, I thought it was a joke. This is the new healthcare system as envisioned, under the Affordable Care Act. And wow.
Yeah.
What a maze here. No wonder doctors are confused, just trying to figure out how everything ties together. They've got the electronic medical records that are moving into it. New codes are coming out next year. And so doctors are just swamped with this stuff. I don't know how they keep up with all this. Well, they don't. That's just it.
And that's true. And then and before anybody kind of goes a little bit on the other side about, oh, my gosh, that means we are going to have to keep up with codes. Folks, the reason that you want to be with us at American Business Systems is because those are already plugged in. Those are some of the things that are coming right along with what we're doing.
Yeah, they're in our system already. And since it's a cloud-based system, every time you log into the system, you're using the latest codes always. We have certified medical coders, folks, who that's their job, is to make sure that those codes are up to date in our system. Obviously, our rejection rate is less than 2%. Overall nationwide.
That's correct.
And the only way we maintain that is by having those codes, of course, up to date.
Absolutely.
And then you get this question a lot, too, Eric, about people. They start thinking about, well, what about all the doctors who are joining groups and who are being bought out by hospitals and so forth? And I ran across this survey here that was done by Medical Economics magazine, and they asked the question, that most physicians are not wanting to sell their practice. They want to stay independent. And you can see why. I mean, it's obviously they become an employee. They don't earn as much money. They don't have much control. And we've seen doctors join groups and then come out of that and want to get back into private practice, haven't we?
Right. And then, one of those little side things that doctors just don't know about when they're getting into a group practice is, it's amazing that a lot of times those little things that are written in fine print is if a doctor joins a group, Patrick, they lose all of their patients. If they leave to go get into private practice again, they basically have to start all over.
Oh my gosh, that's unacceptable. I can't even imagine having gone to the school, spent $250,000 becoming a doctor, open a practice, and then you decide, okay, the hospital wants to buy me out, I'm going to sell out, and then you decide, no, I don't like this, and I want to go back, and you got to start from scratch
all over again.
That's just incredible to me.
Yeah.
Then we ran across another survey. This is by the Doctor-Patient Medical Association. They said, they asked this question to doctors, which of the following most accurately reflects your current financial situation? Look at this, Eric. 1/3, more than a third, are in the black, but just squeaking by. And then another third of doctors said they're in the black, but then 12% of them were just breaking even, and then 10% were in the red.
Right.
So doctors are in trouble. Folks, that's why you need to get involved in this business right now, because doctors need help. Here's the other question they ask them. What do you anticipate your financial situation in the next 5 years? 39% say they believe it's going to worsen.
Yeah, that's 40%. If you really think about it, 40% of what they're anticipating is ruin in the next 5 years.
Yeah, that's right. And 12% of them say it's going to greatly worsen. So, folks, doctors are scared.
Yeah, right.
And then one thing they're scared of, and you may even have thought about this if you're looking into getting into health care and medical billing, is what about that single-payer health care thing that's out there? Well, I've got one word for you, and that's Medicare. Medicare should answer that for most people because when did that come around? 1965, I believe it was. And most people thought, oh, my gosh, the government's going to take over medical billing. There won't be any more billing. And, of course, that hasn't happened. Who does the billing for Medicare, Eric, right now?
The medical billing companies that are out there. I mean, that's,
right.
A lot of people ask that. Does your system do Medicare billing? Absolutely.
Sure.
So
Oh, that's a big chunk of some doctors' practice.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
so here we have a governmental-run type of insurance program, but here we go.
Yep.
We're having to do the billing for Medicare.
That's right, and so if you think about it, folks, the single payer thing, it would be hard to bring that about in America because people think, oh, well, it's being done in other countries, but folks, it's different here in America. Look at this. These are the lobby dollars that were spent here in the last 10 to 12 years on, and this is in billions of dollars. And look at the money that's spent on lobbying. The biggest one, 3 times the next one, is the pharma and healthcare and HMOs that are out there. So the insurance companies, of course, spend a lot of money on it too, and that means, folks, that there's it would be a huge hurdle for that to ever come about, even though there's probably some advantages of it.
Yeah, I mean, my goodness, look at how much money was spent by Blue Cross and Blue Shield in lobbying to their clients. This is unbelievable. We're talking $5.1 million. This was just in 2012. So
there's about 23 million right there just for those top 5 insurance companies. Folks, look downtown. Look at your downtown. I tell people, look at the biggest buildings in your downtown area. They're all owned by insurance companies. This is a huge industry. And so these are great charts. Eric found these. Here's one on health services and HMOs, top contributors to the federal candidates and parties and outside groups. Now, this was 2012. Look at this. Total contributions, $23 million.
Right.
So as bad as we may hate to think that that's a part of how it works here in the United States, folks, it's just the facts are that dollars are spent to influence the people, no matter what party they're in, Democrats or Republicans. They're going to influence them in the way they make decisions about everything, including health care.
Yeah, it just stands to reason that with all this money that's out there and all the money that's being made by these health insurance companies anyway, I just don't see us ever going to a single payer. Now, there may be some things like another type of Medicare, but there's just no way that these companies are going to roll over and
an author, a famous scientist that's done a lot of research on this, just published a book. You can go out to Amazon. I just found it a little while ago, called Why Single Payer Won't Work.
Right.
Just look that up on Amazon, folks. It's a whole book on why that's not going to work. Okay, and look at this quote here. This is from the New England Journal of Medicine, which every doctor knows, and they say market analysts estimate that 24 cents out of every dollar is wasted on the administrative and billing expenses. And Eric, we can do the billing, our licensees do the billing for doctors for a whole lot less than 24 cents out of every dollar.
Yeah, I mean, they're averaging 6 to 7 to 8%. So absolutely.
Right. So that's one reason why, folks, this is always going to be needed by doctors, because even though some of them do their own billing in their own office with their own staff, they save a lot of money by outsourcing to other people. So, Eric, let's get down to first, really quickly, what people would be doing for doctors exactly, because some people don't quite understand these different forms and things. Let's kind of simplify that for them, why don't you? I guess I lost him, or maybe he doesn't know the answer to
that. Nope, I got it. I put myself on mute too. What you're seeing on the screen right now is the patient registration form, and so a lot of what we're going to be doing here as a medical billing company is putting in some of this information, and then what's next on we can see here on the screen is the what's called a super bill. And, oops, I think we went just 2 minutes. There we go. So a super bill, and a super bill is what the doctor's given us as a medical billing company, and we're transferring those codes that you see on there to our billing system, which would be iClaim, and then processing those claims. And so what used to be the norm would be this would all be filled out on a piece of paper. This is what's called a HCFA form. As you can see here, health insurance claim form. So here we've got this thing called a HCFA form, and that's what we are now doing electronically.
This is what my wife actually was doing back in 1987, Eric. When she started doing medical billing, she had to put these forms in a typewriter and actually fill this out on a typewriter. I know that seems like ancient days to talk about typewriters, right? Then we figured out how to do it, of course, on a dot matrix printer with the little holes, on the side that would feed through. And so the point was we had to print it out and stuff it in an envelope and actually mail it into the insurance companies or to Medicare to get paid for doctors. And now all of that's done electronically, folks. It's completely different nowadays. There's no paper involved at all. In fact, even the forms that we showed earlier there, the patient registration and those are all sent to you electronically. You don't have to worry about any paperwork at all involved in this business nowadays. And then we mentioned this rejection rate that we have in our system of 2%. Folks, compare that with the average out there, according to the American Academy of Professional Coders, 34% of all claims sent in are rejected for different reasons. Eric, you want to just kind of touch quickly on why claims are rejected? What's the
Absolutely. I'll go to the first form that you showed, which was that patient registration form. And folks, whenever people get that, you have to fill that out at the doctor's office. Then you hand it to a clerk there in the doctor's office. They have to type all that information in. Well, folks, we're human. We're going to make mistakes. And on average, the mistakes that are made on just the patient registration form, transferring that information to their software, can cause that number one rejection of claims up to 34%. And that's just because it doesn't match what those health insurance companies have on file, and that will cause a claim to be rejected.
Yeah, and in our system, of course, the office, working in conjunction with you as the medical biller, of course, can grab that information in real time right out of the insurance company's databases through what's called electronic eligibility checking. So we check for the eligibility, make sure that the patient's eligible to receive the benefits, and then the data is put right into our system with no data entry at all. That eliminates a lot of errors, doesn't it?
Exactly. And I tell you, it was very interesting. Adam and I were doing a demo with someone just yesterday, and the person had been on there had done billing for quite a number of years. When we showed this to them, their first thing was, "Wow, that's pretty impressive."
Yeah. And then there's the codes. We mentioned those earlier, folks. Believe it or not, a lot of doctors' codes are way out of date. They put those in originally when they opened their practice 20 years ago, and they haven't changed. They're losing money, and claims are being rejected because the codes are not accurate. Remember, with our system, when you put the code in, if it doesn't match what it should, according to what all the system will figure out on its own, then it will reject that before you send it to the clearinghouse or the insurance company. So that's why our rejection rate is down less than 2%. All right. So, Eric, let's just jump right into today's topic. Why should people join the nation's largest network of medical billers? That's us. Reason number one, you will save time and money by not having to focus on the technical aspects. Now, folks, when we talk about the technical aspects, we're talking about, first of all, you're not going to have to keep up with all those codes. Here's another super bill, as you can see. The doctors just circle the codes that they're going to send to you, and remember, you get all this electronically. But the point is that you don't have to focus on this because we focus on it. It's our technology that will do that for you. Plus, you don't have to worry about different types of software that's out there. You don't have to worry about all the different codes that you have to keep up with. Folks, there's a ton of stuff that people are studying in college and taking courses on the internet that they just don't have to because, look, here's a screenshot from our iClaim medical billing, web-based billing system that you'll be using. And as you can see, it's showing the actual codes there on the screen right there, and even suggesting some of those codes for the doctor as he's doing his visit with the patient.
That's right, and I tell you, that is how it's number one. Our system works very efficiently for the doctor, and whenever it works efficiently for the doctor, it actually works very efficiently for you as a billing company. So this is one of those advantages that we like to talk about, especially when we're doing some of these demos with the folks like yourself that are on the call, and then more importantly, when you become part of our system here, wow, this is this is one of the ways that we help you get those clients.
Yeah, and there's people, like I mentioned earlier, that have to take all kinds of, they think that they have to go through all kinds of books and courses to really learn the nitty-gritty details. We teach people how to do this medical billing, folks, in a 1-week class. Now, that doesn't mean you'll know every single detail, but we want to focus you on the things that will get you making money as quickly as possible. And so we have condensed, over the last 20 years, we figured out how to condense what you need to know to get your medical billing business started in the first week. In fact, Eric, I could not believe it. In the last class, we had a guy in there, you remember,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yeah.
James Thomas.
Uh-huh.
He actually had his first client before he arrived in the training. Now, folks, the reason for that is because we work with you immediately. As soon as you get your paperwork done, as soon as you get your funding done for our licensing fee, you are a licensee. And even if you haven't come to the class, we will work with you whatever it takes to help you get started. And this guy had a connection. We did a demo of our system showing the doctor that he was interested in showing. And so he had this immediate connection and had the contract signed before he got to the class. So that's how easy it is to get started in this business with American Business Systems. Okay. Reason number 2.
Let's get into the software here. This is one of my favorite things that you talk about right here, Patrick, is software.
Yeah, because, you know, when my wife and I started doing medical billing, we actually used a piece of software that you'll see here on the next screen. It's called MetaSoft up in the upper left-hand corner there. And there's a couple of others that are out there on the market that are what we call server-based software. So, folks, you don't have to worry about choosing the right software. With our system, we've done all the vetting for you. We've done all the due diligence for you and found the leading-edge technology software system that's out there. The advantage, of course, is that you don't have to load it onto your hard disk of your computer and worry about getting your computer stolen or it crashing or something and you losing all the data. You're working directly over the internet through what's called a cloud-based system. And that means that every time you log in, you're in real time working with the data that's stored out on our servers. Now, by the way, we have redundant servers. If that means anything to you guys that are nerds out there, it means you don't have to worry about losing the data because we've got it on multiple servers, not just one, in various locations, by the way, in the United States.
And Patrick, I've been asked before, what happens if the system crashes right whenever I'm doing something? Folks, it's like Patrick is saying, it's redundant. So as soon as you put any data in there, you don't have to save it. It just saves it itself. So if your computer was to get hit by a meteorite, you just go to another one, and it's there, and so you're fine.
By the way, when people talk about that, and you talk about something crashing, of course, you're talking about their local computer or their local internet service provider. As far as our system is concerned, folks, we don't go down. I mean, it's like 99.999% of the time we are up and running because of the redundancy that we have. And all the maintenance and so forth is actually scheduled, and you'll know way ahead of time, and then that's done like at 3 a.m. in the morning, so you never have to worry about the fact that we are going down. That system is always up and running. And, in fact, it can be accessed from any device in the world that's connected to the internet. Tablets and iPads and smartphones of all kinds, Android and Apple, all of those things can access our system from anywhere 24/7, folks. Why? Because the internet's open 24/7.
That's right. And with our system, the way that it is built, it's built upon a complete platform where everything's integrated. And when we say everything's integrated, when we're processing claims, we are literally processing claims in real time. And that's why we can have an average rejection rate less than 2%, not the 38 to 40 that we showed you earlier. Because if there is a problem with a claim, we know immediately and can be fixed at that time and then get that resolved and get that to the payers.
Yeah, folks, we had a lady in our class just a couple of weeks ago in our last class, and you'll see those testimonials, by the way, posted on our blog here within the next day or so, and you'll hear her say that she came to our class having been in medical billing for 12 years. And when we started talking about rejection rate, she could not believe that our system would actually have less than 2% rejection, because she's used to having over all these years, 25 and 30 and 40% rejection rate sometimes. So it really is an amazing system. In fact, here's another screenshot of it. I love the reporting that you can get out of this thing, including pie charts and bar charts and things like that, to show the doctor in real time where their money is. That's all that really is important to them, isn't it, Eric? The money.
Exactly, and that's what the doctors want to know. I mean, how many doctors that we've talked to, Patrick, that says, man, I can't get a report even out of my own billing staff, even if they're in-house.
Right.
I can't even get a report.
Yeah.
And when we show this to them, that they can log on at any time using their iPhone, iPad, wherever they've got internet connection, they can see in real time what's going on with their billing.
Yeah, and that's, of course, that's the money. Show me the money, and we can show it to them live anytime we want to. By the way, if you're wondering about the advantages of our system over all the other systems that are out there, we've got a little chart called the ABS Advantage that I'm not going to go through it right now, but as you can see, it covers all the different things that people ask about the software, and as you can see, ours has many, many advantages over the competitors that are out there. So ask for a live demo. We actually get online, our support people, with you, and can show you that system live. Eric does that a lot for various folks, don't you, Eric?
Absolutely. We did one today. So absolutely, call us up and ask us. We would be glad to show it to you, because we're going to show you not just how you're going to, quote-unquote, resell this software out there. We're going to show you from a bottom dollar area where this is what we're doing to get the doctor paid. That's the key.
Well, and the demos are also, we'll show it from the standpoint of here's what we will do for you as an ABS licensee. When you have a doctor that's interested in knowing more about the system, you can arrange for us to do the demo for the doctor, and you can sit in on it and watch it as well. So it's as much as making the sale for you when it comes to the billing side, because we're going to show him all the advantages of you taking over his billing.
Well, that's how James got his client. Again, I mean, that's exactly what we did. We did the demo for him, and before he even got to class, he had a client. So you can't get any better than that.
I'm going to do an interview with him over Skype here, and we'll post that on the blog here within the next week or so, too. All right, reason number 3, we've got to move on here. It's half the webinar's over. You will have the support network that you need to succeed. This is why you need to join us, the nation's largest network, folks, because of the support. Folks, it gets lonely out there. If you've never worked by yourself at home, it gets a little lonely. You feel a little disconnected out there. But with us, of course, you are a part of the largest network of medical billing company owners in the United States. We've taught over 1,500 people nationwide how to run this business. So, folks, it's not brand new. This is not a fad. It's not here today and gone tomorrow. We're celebrating our 20th anniversary starting in January next year, 2014. Yeah, we started licensing in 1994. So the point is, guys, you're going to always be able to have access to our licensee support site. That's a private site that you have not seen yet unless your ABS rep has shown it to you. But you'll have an access to it that has all kinds of training and motivational things on it, marketing tools, news, how you can order your marketing materials. All of our new webinars that we do for our licensees on a regular basis are posted there. When you need help with a proposal. This is a tremendous resource, folks, and as you can see, it has a live online chat that you can chat anytime you want to with our support folks, email, phone support. It's all available to you as an ABS licensee for how long, Eric?
Forever.
That's right, forever. That's a good way to put it, because as long as you are an ABS licensee, you have our support.
Exactly.
We used to limit that to like a year, and then we extended it to 2 years. At one point, I just said, look, since we make a few pennies off of all the transactions our licensees are doing, why don't we just extend their support forever, lifetime? Right. And so you have that. Then you have access to our licensee forum. Tell them a little bit about that, Eric.
Yeah, the forum is a great medium for you as a medical billing company to stay in touch with the other ABS medical billing companies out there. So where you can post things online or ask questions and say, hey, does anybody know how to deal with this or with that? And this is where the threads of everything kind of goes into play, and the whole forum goes in there. So whether you're talking about medical billing or EHR or additional services or collections and payments, folks, this is where you get to talk with and be a part of everybody else that's part of the ABS network.
Yeah, and this is a closed system. It's a private system. You have a login for this as well, so that nobody can get in here except, of course, ABS licensees. That's part of the advantages of being a part of our. So as I mentioned earlier, the live demos are done for you with your doctors. You, of course, could be sitting on the computer at your home, watching the demonstration and listening to all the questions. And the great thing is that when the doctors ask questions, guess what? We answer them. You don't have to answer the questions because we are the ones that are giving the demo for you. We never talk about ABS or American Business Systems. It's all about you and your individual company that you've set up to do the medical billing for that doctor.
And then, Patrick, you've already talked about the lifetime of support that people get, and it truly is. As long as you're an ABS licensee, you contact us here at support, whether we're doing the demos for you. Because a lot of people say, well, how many demos do I get? It's just however many you need.
Right. Forever.
We're here to help you. Like I was telling someone earlier today, we're not here just to, get your money and wish you the best. We are really here to help support you. And because this doesn't do us any good of just selling licensing fees. But we're here truly to help out. This is our livelihood as well. So we want to help those medical billing companies succeed.
Well, and the only reason why we've been around 20 years and many, many other companies who've done something similar have gone out of business, Eric, is because we did base and model the company when we first started it on having a back-end income, a revenue. So we're partners. Once you start out there building your business, we begin making money on the back end as well, and that's a win-win, of course, for everybody.
Well, reason number 4 is you don't have to choose and deal with setting up clearinghouses. Now, this is for those that have been in medical billing before. This is a little bit of a hurdle to kind of grasp over because we've been so indoctrinated, so to say, that once we have a billing system, we've got to go figure out what clearinghouse to use. And that can be a little complicated. And when you're having to plug into a third-party clearinghouse, even that can be hard to have to deal with.
Well, we used to do that, of course, when we had that other server-based software that I mentioned earlier. And there are companies out there who still tell you, look, we give you the freedom to hook up with any clearinghouse you want to. Well, that's not freedom. That is a drudgery because, folks, there's a lot of paperwork involved in it. If you're dealing with more than one clearinghouse, which you could if you wanted to, it's a headache. Right. Folks, we've solved all that for you. Through our web-based system, we are the clearinghouse. We don't have a third-party clearinghouse. We do all the clearing ourselves. That way, you can't point fingers and say, oh, it's their fault. It's the clearinghouse's fault. That's why it didn't get accepted. We're the ones who do it behind the scenes through our iClaim system. So you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to do anything but just submit the claims on a daily basis, and you'll be smiling just like this young man is.
Well, the advantage of that to the doctor is this. They're going to get paid quicker. They're going to be able to see their claims move through that portion of what you showed earlier, that reporting mechanism, much quicker because, again, we're actually having our claims ready to go to be paid by the payer in the same time. So this is unheard of. That's why for some people it's a little hard to grasp that, but that's really how it is.
Especially people who've been in medical billing, like the lady I mentioned earlier that was in our class who'd been in it for 12 years. She says, I can't even wrap my brain around this because you guys are saying that you can get paid in an average of 14 days. It's sometimes 60 to 90 days before some of my doctors have gotten paid, and that's with me having to do a lot of follow-up. Well, Eric, we've actually had licensees send a claim in on a Monday, and the doctor has the money in his bank account from the insurance company on Friday.
Yep.
That's fast. But on an average of 2 weeks, folks, that's unheard of.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, reason number 5, you will not have to decide on the best ways to market. Folks, the hardest part of any business I'm just being straightforward with you. This is the hardest part of every business that's out there. Ask anybody who started the business, is how do I get clients? How do I market my product or services? Folks, if you just go out and start talking to a doctor and say, hey, I do medical billing, do you need any? They're going to be asking questions real fast. You know, they don't just turn over their billing to you. They don't know who you are unless you're associated with a nationwide network that does thousands of claims every day for hundreds of doctors from coast to coast. That's how we teach you to position that.
Patrick, let me interject something here as well. That's why all of us here, caution anybody out that's on the call today, don't go pre-market out there either, because this is exactly kind of, and you don't want to go out there and burn any of your leads or doctors that you could go get. So not only do we kind of caution with that, you know, as Patrick's about to get into some outdated marketing methods that are out there, we will position you in the correct way once you come through training.
Yeah, because, folks, again, one of the reasons you're paying the licensing fee to us is so you don't make the mistakes that some people do in trying to start this business. Let me give you an example. There's a book out on the marketplace. I'm assuming you can still get this. It was published about 2 or 3 years ago. And it has some outdated marketing methods, specifically talks about things that you should never do. For example, we learned earlier on that you shouldn't create a fax campaign. That's what it says in this book. Create a fax campaign. Folks, first of all, it's the 21st century. People don't use faxes. They don't like junk faxes sent to you. And you can get fined big dollars for sending faxes to people that didn't ask for them. Another thing it says in this book is advertise in the Yellow Pages. The what? Do people use Yellow Pages anymore? I don't think so. Even on the internet, that's not where doctors look for billers. And then he also says seek out local and community print advertising opportunities. He's talking about what, the Nickel Saver, the Penny Saver magazine that's put out, or little local newspapers. Doctors don't look in the newspapers anymore, folks. Newspapers are going out of business. That is not the way you market. And you can spend a lot of money and waste a lot of money on those things. And then the last thing he says is go big with a billboard. Huh?
Right.
Billboards cost like $1,500 plus per month.
Right.
And besides, what doctor drives down the road and glances over to a billboard by Acme Billing Service and says, ooh, I better call them up when I get back to the office. Folks, with ABS, we have spent over $100,000 developing the types of marketing materials and proposal folders and things like that you'll need to make you look like a professional. Because, Eric, we've seen some pretty unprofessional stuff in our time, haven't we?
Yeah, there is no doubt, and we've even kind of cautioned some of our licensees, don't go outside what we've already done here, so just keep within the boundaries.
Right. Our brochures are all designed by professional design artists. We've tested these to make sure that they are accepted in the marketplace, and look at all of them. They look like you are a part of something that's big, kind of like a franchise. But, of course, our name is nowhere on these. Folks, you're going to be establishing your own company. We teach you how to do that in our training, and you will be the one that we print the name and logo of your company on these. But look how professional these look. They don't look like they just come off of somebody's inkjet printer. Our postcard campaign that we've developed is all first class as well. You don't have to come up with the wording or the design or anything else. Folks, you could spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on this type of thing on your own. We've even spent over $30,000 on this one DVD. Folks, we have doctors on this DVD that on camera say why they decided to outsource their billing. You cannot get that kind of pre-made testimonials by just starting your own medical billing company. There's 5 doctors specifically on this, including yours truly, that talks about the advantages of it, and it's hosted by Hugh Downs, which nobody even knows nowadays, I don't guess. Eric, you know who he is, of course, because Eric helped me to put this thing together. But, he was the host of 2020 with Barbara Walters for a while there. Then there's my book that Eric mentioned earlier. Folks, this is very important that you realize that this book was written specifically by me and a CPA friend of mine, Brian Malatesta, as a third-party educational book. This is what helps the doctor and the office manager realize why they need to outsource their billing. Look at the subtitle here, how to get more money faster into your professional practice and plug the hidden leaks that are draining profits. So again, our company name is nowhere in this book. We teach you how to mark this book up and identify it as your company that's providing this educational material to the doctor. Eric, talk about the trade show displays. You just did a little session in our last training on trade shows.
Right. Trade shows are a great way, and we'll show you what trade shows not to go to and not go waste all of your money. We'll also show you which trade shows you need to be a part of to gain, leads and doctors on the spot. So, folks, these are some of the ways that you can get your doctors actually coming to you. And as you can see there in the background, this is one of the advantages of having us as part of your team, is because we have this display for our licensees to use, and we ship it to the trade show of where you're going to be there, and you're just basically renting it from us just for the trade show days only, not the shipping portion of it. And this is a great way to go out there and build your business. Certainly not with, like Patrick said earlier, not with a billboard, but with something that you can actually engage with doctors like these folks are doing right here.
Now, Eric, as you know, because you actually signed up, Dr. Combest, she is on our advisory board. You'll see her there on our website, folks, if you go to our website under About the Team. And Dr. Combest is a doctor, a medical doctor who is practicing currently. And she has decided she wants to get into the billing side of medicine, the business side, she says, where the money is, that there's more money to be made there than in the practicing side. And she had, her first client came from a trade show that she did right over here in Dallas.
Absolutely.
And then there's the Lunch and Learns. We'll teach you how to do what we call Lunch and Learns, which are just little seminars teaching office managers and doctors how to do that. This is a licensee who did his very first one, had 45 people show up at this. We'll show you exactly how to set these up, how to partner with another organization there in your area to host this for you, and to get people to show up at these things. Great way to have a captive audience for about 45 minutes to tell them everything that you can about all kinds of different subjects that we already have pre-designed for you. In fact, we've already got those subjects on PowerPoints. You can print them out as flip charts. You can put them on your tablet or iPad to be able to show from that way, or, of course, just on a projector there in front of a crowd like you just saw. These are the things, folks, again, that would take you hours and hours to develop, and many, many, many dollars to develop as well. I've already mentioned the live demos, but folks, I can't emphasize enough how that as far as a marketing tool, you will not find anything anywhere in America today by any company that is as powerful as us, the company, doing the demos for you and answering all the questions from the doctors. Then there's all the social media that's out there. Eric mentioned a little bit about that earlier. We use it, of course, and we're going to teach you how to use that as well, because this is a great way to build a business in today's world. And we have people who are experts in teaching you how to do that. And if you don't want to do any marketing yourself, maybe you're a little scared of it, you don't know what you're doing. Now, by the end of our training week, you'll feel very comfortable. But we do have people who decide, you know, I'm not working a full-time job. I got to get my clients going. So we'll teach you how to find sales reps. Yes, there are people out there, people like these happy folks here that love to sell, aren't there, Eric?
Exactly. I mean, there are folks that are out there that just love to go out there and sell and
close the deal. Yeah.
And close the deal.
They'll bring you the contract, and by the way, folks, these are folks who are paid on a commission basis only. That means until you have the signed contract, you don't have to pay them a penny. So we have all the training and show you how to find those folks as well. All right, Eric, we're moving right along here. Let's talk about reason number 6.
Yeah, you will not just be a medical biller, and that's one of the best things about being part of this business. And as we know, it's expanding. I mean, Patrick and Jordan and some of the other team here yesterday learned about some new services that could be part of the whole revenue cycle management. Because if you go in and just say, "Hey, doc, do you need some medical billing?" They're going to go, don't want it, done that and don't want it.
Right.
So here is the full revenue cycle, as Patrick is showing up on the screen right now. And again, folks, these are the things that you're going to learn in that virtual brochure. I too can't stress enough about getting into that virtual brochure. I know Patrick and I are kind of clipping through a lot of this today. Some of this you've probably already heard for those that have already been on webinars before. Some people are brand new, and so we've got to kind of share all of this information again. But what does it mean to be a revenue cycle management? Well, everything that we're showing you here on the screen, whether it's iClaim, EMRX, Audit Guard, CodeWrite, the Physician's Toolbox, folks, you are not just a medical billing company. I had a lady, Patrick, today says, yeah, I talked to some of my friends of mine, and becoming a medical biller, they just say, don't get into that. And I explained to her, I said, but ma'am, this is more than just that. And I was able to explain that to her, and she goes, oh, okay, let's continue on.
Well, yeah, that brings up a good point. All the services that our licensees can offer that other medical billers don't have out there, of course, makes a huge difference, folks. You have to stand out in the marketplace today. And the only way to do that is to be on the leading edge, offering much more than just the billing for the doctor. Every aspect of their cash flow can be handled with the services that ABS has developed over the last 20 years. And that brings up right what you just said, Eric, right up to reason number 7. The reason you need to join us, folks, is because you will not be swayed by the dream stealers. The more you attend these webinars, the more you learn from your ABS rep about what we actually do, you'll see that there's nobody that can sway you. My wife and I were almost swayed by some of our relatives back in 1987. That's when this picture was taken here, by the way. As you can see from my hair there, it's a lot darker. A lot of our relatives just said, "Oh no, that'll never work. You'll never make any money at it." And folks, we began making a 6-figure income within a short period of time, still working out of our home. Never did open a commercial office of any kind. So don't listen to these kinds of people. These kinds of people are losers. Couldn't help, I found that on the internet. But
yeah.
I don't know who this poor guy is. He probably just messed up his hair just for that picture. But the point is, folks, don't listen to the dream stealers. You have them in your life just like everybody else does. That's why I wrote specifically my book, How to Reprogram Yourself for Success. Go get it on Amazon or ask your ABS rep to send you a copy. You need to read why you can program yourself to be successful in not just this business, but any business. And if you read the other best-selling authors like Robert Kiyosaki, a multi-millionaire who's written many, many books, he says the number one thing that people can do to increase their wealth is to start a part-time business. So don't listen to your brother-in-law. He wants you to fail. He doesn't want you to be any more successful than you are right now. It'll make him look that much more of a failure. But listen to people like Robert Kiyosaki, who says, if you want to increase your wealth, folks, you'll at least start part-time and build up a business, of course, to full-time if you want to. We have many people, of course, who jump into this full-time. Here's another guy, Duncan McPherson, co-founder and CEO of Pareto Systems. He says working for a traditional corporation has become the risky option. Folks, you think starting your own business is risky. Working for somebody else in today's world is risky. The new job security is when you and you alone can fire yourself. And that only happens, of course, when you have your own business.
Hey, Patrick, if you don't mind, I'm going to share just one little quote here. Now, I mentioned this earlier about this article. This article came out August the 6th about job hunting, getting you down, how to build a full-time life in a part-time world. I want you to listen to what he says here. He says, the author of this, he says, the American dream of employer-employee bound till death do us part is passing away. Today, we must become lifestyle entrepreneurs and embrace mobility as a leverage of our skills in creative ways.
Wow.
It's almost like we wrote that. But
yeah, talk about mobility. We've had licensees work this thing from the beaches of, Hawaii to while they're on a cruise, on the cruise ship. You can run this business from anywhere, folks, because it's just the internet. As long as you can get an internet connection, you can run this business. Okay, we had reason number 8 up there, ignoring the windows of opportunity. A lot of people don't realize it, but there is a window of opportunity right now for what's called electronic health records, EHR. There's an incentive program out there, folks, that once you get into our training, you'll see that you can actually show a doctor how that he can receive up to $39,000 from the U.S. government. It's not a loan. It's money that's paid to him for getting involved in electronic health records. We have one of the few, I'm talking about less than a handful of companies out of hundreds that have a phase 2 meaningful use qualified. Now, I know that probably doesn't mean a whole lot to some people here, but folks, there has to be a system that's been certified by the government to qualify for that money, and ours does.
Exactly.
We've seen checks already going to doctors, haven't we, Eric?
Right. And let me just kind of, I know that we're running up against the top of the hour here, but
you can tell I'm moving on quickly.
I know. What does that mean for you and the doctors? That means a lot of the EMR systems are going to go away. And because a lot of people ask us, Patrick, well, what about these other doctors that are on these other EMR systems? Folks, when Patrick says the window of opportunity is here and now, it is here and now, because we have one of those ways that we will be able to stay in business, and a lot of others are going to go out of business.
Yeah, within the next 2 or 3 years, that window will be closed. Now, there's another window that people don't think about, and that's the baby boomers.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10,000 baby boomers a day retire into the healthcare system, folks. So you talk about a boom in the healthcare field, there'll be less doctors and more people, and of course that means for us that many more claims. Yeah, 30 to 40, I don't even know what the number is. I hear different numbers, so I've used 40 here, but 40 million uninsured Americans will be in the healthcare system, folks. For us, that means a lot more claims, which is a good news.
Reason number 9, you'll not be limited to which doctors you can sign up. Folks, it's pretty open for you. You know, what is your territory? Patrick, why don't you show them what their territory looks like?
Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped a slide.
That's all right.
Here's the types of doctors you can sign up, folks. It's basically any specialist out there that files on what they call the HCFA form. Eric showed that earlier to you. And that form is a standard form that all of these specialties, this is here on the screen. So when you sign up with ABS, you're able to do the medical billing for any of the doctors. Folks, there's 1 million medical providers that falls into the category of people that you could do the billing for. Okay, and then the territory, that's an important point, because a lot of franchises will limit you to a certain geographical territory. Well, here's your territory. It's pretty simple. It's the whole United States. That's right, including Alaska and Hawaii. So we have licensees in Florida who are doing billing for people in Nevada and Washington and Montana and North Dakota and Minnesota. Why? Because you don't have a territory, folks. It's the same medical system, the same forms, the same system that's used all over the United States. In fact, we have a licensee in Florida who has clients in 6 states.
Right.
Yeah, he's opened a 6,000 square foot office, has 25 employees, and does $10 million in billing. So this can get as big as you want, or of course you can keep it as small as you want as well. If you want to find out what the potential is out there, just go to our website under Income Potential. We have what's called a Find Doctors in My Area. And when you go there, folks, you will be able to put in your zip code and see the number of these providers in your area. Just spend a little time on that, and you'll see it's a huge, huge market that's out there. You'll just need to scroll down to the bottom each time you do a lookup and see the total number of results down here. In this case, there's 10,326 general practitioners right in this Dallas area. All right, reason number 10, you will not be limited in the amount of money you can earn. Now, folks, this one's a hard one to go through in detail for you, but let me just say this. If you just go out and get a job as a medical biller, can you see it right here? Medical biller, from 0 to 2 years, you'll only earn about $28,000 a year. That's a nice figure, but you know what, folks? You can earn that with 1 doctor. Yeah, go to our website under that income potential and go to Medical Billing Income Calculator, and by dropping in a few numbers that are in the next screen here, you'll be able to see the type of money you can make. Well, look, this is just 1 doctor seeing 20 patients a day, 5 days a week. You're charging them 6% of their average claim of $100, and look at this. This comes out to more, 1 doctor, more than what you could make as a brand new medical biller working inside of a doctor's office. So the potential here, folks, is way, way more than most people have in mind. And that's without even offering some of the other services that you can offer as an ABS licensee.
And then I believe this is the last one, reason number 11.
Yeah.
You will not have to figure out how to approach doctors. That's where being part of the nation's largest group of medical independent group here, this is what we specialize in. We will help you do that.
That's right. And it's not, you can't just yell at the doctor.
Right.
You can't just say, hey, I can do a better job than you're doing now or whatever. You have to have a way of proving that. Well, one of the ways we'll teach you to do that, folks, is by generating a practice analysis for each doctor, asking them a series of questions that then you go back to your office, drop some numbers they give you into a spreadsheet that we've designed that comes up and shows you, bottom line, and shows the doctor the increased revenue per year. Look at this one. This typical example here is we can increase the doctor's revenue by $150,000 a year. Some doctors, it's much more than that. Here's an actual example from one of our licensees. We increased their revenue by over $500,000. Eric, it's 4 o'clock.
It's 4 o'clock. Can you believe it? Boy, time goes by quickly.
We timed that pretty good, didn't we?
Well, folks, listen, our next training class is coming up here. And between now and the end of the year, this is number 1 of 3 that are left. September, we have one in September. We have another one in October that kind of rolls into the first part of November. And then we have one more in December. So, folks, we want to get you into one of these classes. I know that there are people on the webinar today that have been looking at this for quite some time. And, we're certainly not rushing anybody into here, but if you want to get into one of these classes, please give us a call. There's only 9 seats available for the upcoming September class, and if you're just a little bit unsure, just because you don't know if this is the right business for you, I'm going to let Patrick explain the 100% money-back guarantee on the whole business here.
Yeah, folks, I don't know of any other company in America that does anything close to this. We'll let you attend that training workshop here in Dallas. It's a week long, from Monday, 8 o'clock Monday morning till about 1 o'clock on Friday. And we'll let you sit through the whole thing, not just one day, not 2, but the whole week. And if at the end of the week you don't think this business is right for you, just tell any of our staff, and they'll arrange for you to receive a full refund of your license fee. Now, folks, the reason we can do that, of course, is, well, just go out to our blog and watch some of the testimonials from people who've been through the training. You'll see why we don't have a problem offering that kind of guarantee. So, hey, like Eric said, we're going to be here. We've been here for 20 years. We're going to be here for hopefully another 20 years. And so it doesn't matter. We're just letting you know that this particular training coming up is filling up and will fill up. So if you want to be a part of the next workshop, get your due diligence done, research us, get your funds together, call your ABS rep. If you don't know who that is, just call this number you see here on the screen and ask, and we'll put you in contact with somebody who can get you step by step what you need to do to get in that class. Meanwhile, we do these webinars every Wednesday, so just
every
be on here.
Wednesday absolutely. Every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central.
Right.
Folks, you know that we try to give you as much education as we can on these. I know it's only